Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff of California. He is chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, and he was the lead House manager prosecutor in Donald Trump's first impeachment trial in the United States Senate. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Chairman Schiff. Really appreciate it.
Good to be with you.
I want to go to the last point that we were covering here in tonight's reporting, and that is the connection between Trump confidants like Roger Stone, the White House, and invaders of the Capitol. There's also telephone data that has been collected from the cell phone services indicating that there were phone calls, marking every phone call from the Capitol on that day. And there's evidence of at least one call to the White House.
Well, I think this is a very important part of the investigation, and there are really at least a couple main components. The first is they're going out, the FBI fanning out throughout the country, identifying the insurrectionists, those that were there, those that were carrying a spear or threatening the life of the speaker or the vice president, and they're tracking them down and arresting them, and they're seeking detention, and the courts are ordering detention in some of these cases. But the other aspect of the investigation is who was involved in organizing this, who was involved in financing this, what ties, if any, are there between the insurrectionists and public officials, members of Congress, or members of the Trump campaign or administration, or allies of the president like Roger Stone. And so it's going to be important for the FBI to get answers. It's going to be important for Congress to get answers. And part of that is to bring justice, to find people accountable. But also in terms of protecting the Capitol going forward, we need to understand just who was involved in this. How did this come about? What role did social media play in helping these QAnon conspiracy theorists and others find each other?
How important is it for the progress of the investigation in the Justice Department to have Merrick Garland confirmed as Attorney General and be in there overseeing the progress of this, since it will eventually be handed off to him?
Well, it's very important. For right now, as they're tracking these people down and they're making arrests, and they may file a complaint with lesser charges and then have to make a decision about whether to bring greater charges. And some of those decisions may get bumped all the way up to the Attorney General or Main Justice. But in terms of the broader investigation, that's really, I think, one of the most important reasons why you need the Attorney General confirmed. Big decisions about bigger cases with more far-reaching repercussions. If there indeed were people close to the president who bear responsibility for the violence, that's a decision that's going to be made by the Attorney General. So he does need to be confirmed, and I think time is of the essence.
We've seen many times where the Justice Department is investigating something that Congress also wants to investigate, and you somehow have to choose your lanes and not cross over into the federal criminal investigation. Have there been discussions in the House about how to do that?
I haven't been part of those discussions yet, but I think, when we get to the point of bringing in certain witnesses, those conversations should take place. I can tell you in the beginning of the Russia investigation, we met with Bob Mueller for the purpose of deconflicting. I don't think he was interested in trying to coordinate with us, and that was perfectly understandable. But at the same time, we wanted to make sure that nothing we did would prohibit them from bringing someone to justice. And we certainly wouldn't entertain, for example, providing immunity to a witness if it meant that the Justice Department couldn't bring a prosecution. So at some point, there may be a need for deconfliction, and either the Justice Department will reach to Congress or we'll reach to them to make sure that we're not treading too heavily in their lane.
And thanks to Georgia electing 2 Democratic senators, you find yourself in a different dynamic now in this investigation because you also have a Democratic Senate. When you were investigating Donald Trump in the House of Representatives, there was absolutely no investigation in the Republican-controlled Senate because no committee would conduct any serious investigation there. And so you now have the possibility of coordinating investigation with the Senate. Has there been any planning on that?
I think that probably both houses are going to be going about this separately. You're absolutely right. there's kind of a force multiplier in that you have a Senate now that is willing to take on these tough issues. And so I think you'll see parallel actions, and we've seen some of that already. At the same time, it does underscore why it's so important to have an independent commission that would have, frankly, greater resources than the Congress, because it would be utterly nonpartisan. It would also carry great weight and credibility with the American people. So I think in addition to the efforts you see going on in House and Senate, it really makes sense if we want a body with the stature of the 9/11 Commission to make recommendations for the future that we establish that commission.
Chairman Adam Schiff, thank you very much for leading off our discussion tonight.
Thanks, Lawrence.
Thank you.